Hello, this is Pastor Terry Goodman, and I want to welcome you to the Wesleyan Connection. This podcast is primarily for the clergy and laity of the Holston Annual Conference. Join with me now as I take a look around the Connection and share some of the things happening in the churches of our annual conference. Within the church, we are sometimes accused of not always looking for or seeking out new ideas or new ways to think about things. You know, the mantra is, we've always done it that way, indicating why look a different way. I was pleased to learn that our annual conference has found a new way to deal with some of the issues related to our churches in the annual conference, and that they have brought a team into existence called the African-American-Ministries Task Force. Carl Marshall was the one that was reporting on that team at our recent discipleship team meeting. And so I'm going to let Carl do the explaining, and he will help us to understand this newly created team within the bounds of our annual conference.
We've got Carl here from the African-American Ministries Task Force, and I know that's been revamped, so tell us what's going on.
Well, we just met for our first time in, I think it's 29th of September, a couple of weeks ago. And pretty much most of what we did was to elect officers, dialogue about the approach that we'd like to take in terms of the priorities that we see as African Americans and the African American Church. I think, well, as most of you know, if not all of you know, that this is has been a concern for me personally for a while, and as we dialogued about it, Glenda was very gracious to take our concerns to the conference leadership, and we were certified, if you want to call it that, at our last annual conference. We have several of our members came out of here. I think about 3, 4. You,
me,
Dean,
you, Estelle Williams, Paige Wimberly, Susan Montgomery.
right.
Were part of the discipleship team when we were having that discussion that said, I want to be part of making sure that happens.
And we've been able to attract a couple of more. Bobby is a member, and Lisa's husband, I should say, is a member. And pretty much what, as I said earlier, pretty much what we did was just to sort of get organized. And they decided they voted for me as the chairperson, and they may regret that at some point. That was a joke, you guys, so don't worry about it. But the group, I think, will be well representative. I think I'm very excited about what we can do. I think we've got the right people on the group, and we're trying to enlist a couple of more folk. We have just one female African American, and we had thought that was lacking. We needed to attract at least 1 or 2 more. So we're looking forward to that. In terms of the agenda, we in our discussions, of course, everyone pretty much had some ideas as to what this task force should be about. And I think to summarize that, the African American Church, as we see it, or I see it, just doesn't have a place in the conference. Not one that is specific to who we are. And with that being, I think revamping. One of you guys used that word. It's the effort is being looked at again, but our direction will not necessarily be what had happened in the past. Obviously, our past attempts were not, let's say, well, just they weren't successful. So part of our dialogue on that first meeting was to kind of glean what we thought historically had been successful, and to move into areas that hopefully will be better appreciated, let's say, as far as the conference is concerned. We had hoped, and we're still hoping, to get the bishop to come and sit with us. Obviously, that's something that needs to be communicated to her directly, not necessarily just from hearsay. So we're hoping that she can carve out some time, and I think we're working on that.
I'm working on that with you.
Yeah. But that's pretty much where we are. Again, we're very excited about this new effort, and again, I appreciate this group's support in making this happen.
Is there anything we can currently do to support you all as you're making your way through finding what's going to be a successful place?
Well, let me say this. If I could come back to you at some point,
Sure.
with specifics.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be a better way. For us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can do.
This is Pastor Goodman. Thanks for listening to this edition of the Wesleyan Connection. Be sure to check back often for more podcasts.